Welcome on in for today's college football pick video play. Be sure to check out all of our college football picks for Saturday's action over at stumpthespread.com, which is linked down in the video description. Heading into this one, going to be talking about this ACC matchup between the Miami Hurricanes and the North Carolina Tar Heels. Give our lean on where we see the better value against the spread. The road team here, Miami, coming in favored by about 5 points. Now, coming into the year, certainly people had higher expectations for Miami in contrast to North Carolina, but after what we saw from the Tar Heels in week one, those expectations are starting to rise a bit for North Carolina. Now they get a chance to try to prove themselves on their home field against one of the better teams in their division. So it looks like it could be a situation this season where there's a lot of squads that could be vying again in the ACC Coastal Division in that upper tier. Now, Miami in their opening game, very competitive against a respectable opponent, losing to Florida by just 4 points, a final of 20-24. Now, with watching that game, I wasn't overly impressed necessarily with Miami in terms of what they were able to do consistently on the offensive side of the ball, but they did show some pretty nice signs defensively, especially holding Florida just to 50 yards rushing on 28 attempts, giving up 254 yards through the air, also able to force some turnovers, but they had their chances down the stretch, and they weren't able to cash in and get the job done, which would have been a really impressive upset victory for Miami. Now, offensively, against a tough Florida defense, they put up 214 yards through the air, 87 yards on the ground on 36 carries. And we'll see what Miami does going into this one on the road against, like I said, a North Carolina team that really impressed in their opener. So it was the Belk kickoff against South Carolina, and North Carolina actually came in as double-digit underdogs. Pretty low expectations relative for North Carolina coming into the year, but they actually looked really good. They put up 245 yards through the air, 238 yards on the ground, a very well-balanced attack, but then also getting the job done defensively, and they were able to come back in the fourth quarter, outscoring South Carolina 15 points to 0 as they went on to win by a final of 24-20. And North Carolina, they outplayed South Carolina. It's not like they lucked into that victory. They nearly doubled the yardage that South Carolina put up, so definitely a well-deserved and earned victory, and they're going to try to build off of that positive momentum coming into this one against Miami. And we expect this to be a very competitive matchup, and the fact that North Carolina gets the home field advantage on top of it, getting 5 points, they feel like the better value bet coming to this one. That's what we're siding, taking North Carolina getting those 5 points. If you agree, give the video a thumbs up. Disagree, give it a thumbs down. And again, you can check out all of our picks for today's action in college football over at stumpthespread.com, including our daily free play. And for this one, that's going to be a pick against the spread in the matchup between Clemson and Texas A&M, which should be a pretty hyped matchup. So if you want our free play for that one, you can check it out over at stumpthespread.com. Thanks, guys, for stopping on in. Consider subscribing for more. Hope to see you guys back here for future videos.